it was negated out of it because of the other three Luya regions. And now the thing about there is no de facto Luya leader who will say and tell Luyas vote like this. And I've told people so many times that there is no leader in Luya land who will always come and tell people to vote like this. Actually, Raila has more impact in Luya land than the locals over there. Like it's all him. It's based on how he has built the inroads in that community, how he has come and do that. Now the Luya community were Ford.
Okay.
During multi-party, they were predominantly Ford people, right? So even during the Ford Kenya and the Ford thing when Ford Asili thing when it happened, they went for Kenya because of that neighborliness and all that, but Ford Asili got a lot of votes out of there too, right? Before it was more predominantly Kanu, but if you go back to when Okondo and Muge were assassinated, those left a bad taste in the mouth of them, because those were their leaders who were actually going in. So now coming into how even when Ford Kenya was created and Kijana Wamalwa took it up, he only took the Sabaoti and people from Bungoma, the Bukusu. All these other sub-tribes went with, what is Raila's party called? NDP?
NDP, there was NDP. There
NDP,
was,
So they went there because if Fort Kenya actually thought that they will have that region in lock.
Under lock, yeah.
Yeah, but what they never realized was that when it these guys were not pro Moi, but they were also not pro that. So there's never really been
any Nani who brought them together. Mudavadi.
Actually,
Senior.
Mudavadi Senior, yes.
Yeah, Moses.
Yeah. But then Junior is not respected over there.
No.
Because he's been handed out everything. That is why it is easy for people like Akaranga to beat him.
And Shikuku could make noise in that area. But yeah.
But even Shikuku was not. The thing was this: there were leaders who were being considered Kinambwere, right? Who were being considered as leaders in Luya land, but they were not into politics, right? But he was being considered as somebody who, due to his wealth and due to what he used to do in that whole whole area. And then they had a militia called Msumbiji, which was also used to impact to coerce, to force people to do certain stuff.
Yeah.
Right. So those guys never really aligned with this other Kinanini. That is why when Ambwere fell out with Moi and he aligned with Kinamatiba, Ford became such a huge thing in Western. So there's a lot when you look at that Western politics.
Yeah.
It's not going to have a de facto leader. And guess what? Which region is getting that next?
Which one?
Nyanza.
Once Raila goes,
is out. Yeah.
Because I don't see. I can't picture a figure.
A total uniting force.
Yeah.
I think the total uniting force for them may probably be a party, which right now is whatever party it is, whether it's ODM or other. Now they may be a de facto leader who comes out, but what's going to need to happen, in my opinion, is that Baba is going to need to hold this person's hand and walk them all through.
That is something he should have started.
And I don't. Yes, correct. But you see, I think the problem also with that is that if you are already in leadership, meaning you're already at the presidential level or you're president, then you can hold hands. But if you're not, you can't, because you're still fighting for yourself.
But then, see, I think Baba's issue right now.
That's how they look at it.
Baba's issue right now, which he's done over the years, he's really worked hard to untag himself with the tag of Luo King.
Yes.
And personally, I believe it's the reason why he dispatched the likes of Orengo, and even Anyang' Nyong'o from the last election. You guys go and run for governor. Achana na mimi. Look at who's closest to Baba. Junet, Joho, the Makau Mutuas. There's very few Luos, like up there.
Kisis. that they have their Kisis.
Yeah, there are Kisis there, but there are very few Luos up there. Yeah. So I think it's going to be very difficult. The other difficulty...
It doesn't have to be a Luo. It just needs to be somebody from Nyanza. Because the whole point of it is you need a uniting Nyanza force.
But what I'm saying...
But that is always going to be hard. Because look at this. Look at Western. Watu sema Waluo wamechanganyikiwa. Waluo hawajachanganyikiwa. Waluo upigia mtu mwenye wanaona atawasaidia hapo mbele yao.
Correct.
And that thing has started happening in Nyanza right now.
Yes, this election here...
In 2013, when people refused 6-piece.
Oh, okay, I get it. I get what you're saying from that perspective, yes. But even up to the last election, they were still voting on that party line. Up to the last election. But in some very few cases... which were
it was growing independent. It was 2013.
You are very right, because that's how Obado, right?
Yeah.
But those are in Nyanza, you can count.
But remember 2013 ilianza na mtu mmoja. 2017 wakakuwa
wengine na hata sasa na mpaka kwa MPs.
Angalia sahi.
Yes, no, now it's like and they said it, and actually even for us guys like in Homa Bay, guys were like, okay, fine, at president we'll vote for this chap. Easy nini zingine
we'll
choose the guy who's going to help us
and with evolution.
Yes. And that
but angalia kitu ingine, like that I've observed from the outside about the Luo community is that when you look at like the people that were up there, we're talking to Mboya, Jaramogi, and then now we have Raila. These are historical figures. They're not just anybody's. These are enigmas. So to me, you kind of have to be at that level. You have to be an enigma for them to even consider you
or give you that respect.
Yeah, and the problem right now within the community, we are not necessarily seeing any enigmatic figure
coming up.
So there's a chance that they may have to go out to seek that enigmatic figure. It might be someone, they may still be united, but it may be someone not from their community,
or rather, that brand of politics is ending. Right?
Yes, it's issue-based.
It's ending because
it's not personality.
Because do you know why I say that? If kingpinship voting was still going on, Western would have voted, not Western, Central would have been Azimio right now. Tunasikiza Mudhamaki, right?
Yeah.
Hawajamsikia? Yes, kuna wenye wamemsikia, but hawajamsikia, right? And then pia wako na independence pia huko. So it's showing you the huge voting blocks are breaking that monotony of you want to have a tribal leader ama mtu mwingine, right? And it's the only people who I see who still are holding onto that tribal voting block, it's the Kalenjins bado.
Now
bado ndo koneo majority ya nini, and it's going to and guess what, Ruto, yes, alikuwa ame-break, but guess what, at least Ruto managed to bring them again together kwa shikanisha.
Yes,
akaweka pamoja. Like it looked like there was going to be a break in that region, but he managed to consolidate everybody and brought them in together, right? And for that, I give him respect for that. But these guys are very brilliant and smart politicians. Ujama, honestly, hands down, respect for what is done in
absolutely,
campaign.
Absolutely. And you know, for him,
it's called a good student.
For him, he started working in the grassroots. If you look at what he did, and I think hapo ndo pali walikuja wakakosana na Uhuru. I think what he did, he was given charge of like nominations. So what he did in all those central counties,
correct,
he went and akaeka watu wake. Like the Jubilee nominations, like were very rigged. But what he did is he put his people, and if you notice the caliber of people he chooses, he's never gonna choose someone. He's gonna choose people who are maybe unknown, like mtutu ambaye
one won't ruffle feathers,
one won't ruffle feathers, mtu labda ambaye alikuwa hajulikani sana, but whereby ataona me by the way, yani I wasn't even the next in line to succession, but jamaa amenisaidia mpaka nikaingia hapa. So now these people have to be 100% loyal to him.
Yes.
Ntindi Nyoro, what's the other guy? Kangata, all these MPs, all these sasa UDA MPs, kina Ichungwa. When you look, like from that 2013 election, that's where he started grooming them. Now they have to be 100% loyal to him.
Or bust.
Yeah, because he put them ahead of the established names that were there before. And that's the reason why, that's how he was able, and he went down to the MCA level.
Yep.
You know, it's just that the MCA level is not so much on the media, but he went down to the MCA level, and that's how he was able to spread his tentacles.
Because the
in Kikuyu
MCA
country.
levels is and let's tell people, local politics is the main politics that people should be concerned.
Because these are the ones
Because
who
MCA ndio huenda kwa nyumba za watu
Yes.
kuongea na watu, kuambia nini,
kuja mlangoni,
Yeye ndo anaenda kunywa na watu kwa
anaenda
mabaa za
kukunywa na
huko.
watu kwa mabaa, anaenda kukula kwa mahoteli now. Like everything that an MCA,
The MCA is very powerful.
You know, it's an interesting thing that you guys talk about the MC and local politics, because yesterday I was having a discussion with another lady and we were trying to chambua, and asking about, like, what we discussed the last show, and she was the opinion that civics, she did not agree that civics should start at home, because sana sometimes home may not be conducive enough to even talk about politics, not to even educate on civics, to educate on civics, but it should be mandatory in schools, and especially like if you're growing up, let's say standard 1, standard 2, just learning the structure, learning. Okay, this is what constitutes, the arms of government. This is what you have. This is who you have. The Senate, judiciaries, what, executive, legislator. And then from there, you find out, okay, this is what these guys do. This is what the Senate does. This is what, if you're in parliament, legislature, what you do, whatever. And then, all the way down to, like, if you're looking at county government, the structure. And by the way, let me ask, you guys are over there listening, my fans, quick question. What is the role of the Senate? Just quickly, just type it in there. You guys don't answer. What's the role of the Senate? And then we'll read out the answers. And don't be ashamed. Don't worry. ECA, KCSE, you'll be marked and you'll fail. But we'll check you. Okay, we won't. So the idea is understanding the role of the MCA. The MCA is that guy who would facilitate your road, would fight for, let's say, steamer, water, would fight for, let's say, maybe a dispensary, or, because pesa ziko.
More money for the school.
Exactly. Now, how would we be able to know that? Because even, if we really cannot understand the structure, if you cannot understand the role and what, if I don't know, let's say, for example, if you don't know the role of HR, many people are not going to ever, and discuss. Funny thing is, we're talking about how sometimes, as Kenyans, when we hear HR, you're like, oh, shit.
Kazi imeenda.
It's a wrap.
Yeah.
But non-Kenyans, locals are the natives. Wanakaanga huko HR. They are always huko buddy with the HR people.
Yeah.
We are the ones who are avoiding HR.
Wanajuanga mkiongezwa mshahara, mkipunguzwa mshahara, wanajuanga benefit mpya inakuja. Wanajuanga mpaka happy hour imepangwa na ujuangi. So in essence, civic education. And it's one of those things, and I agree with Micah. I think, one, strategically, Ruto did run a good campaign, because people right now, guys are like, what?
Yeah, and he ran it for 4 years.
It is something we did not see.
Mm-hmm.
Most guys were saying you should have just waited.
Waited your turn.
Umeti. But based on current polling, with the results that are streaming in or whatever,
yeah,
we have to give, the campaign, what he did was on point. And it's also, I think, what Micah said, it's also, I think it's the beginning of the transition moving away from kingpins, moving away from Rao, moving away from UK.
Yeah, tribal kingpins.
And that's what was the word that has been ushered?
Dynasties.
Dynasties.
Mm.
But Ruto has been in I mean,
He's a dynasty.
he's a dynasty himself.
He
and
doesn't want to call himself
yeah, but
one.
he is.
He's a dynasty.
But he'll call himself a hustler based on how whatever he came in versus
from whence he came.
He was an MP in his 20s.
Yeah,
he was an MP. He was an MP in his 20s.
Unajua pale alikata line hapo kwa MP. Akitoa nani? What is the name of that guy? No.
It wasn't Biwott. Micah Cheserem.
No, not Micah Cheserem. What was his name?
I don't know.
But by then it was called Eldoret North
Constituency. Yeah, Eldoret North. Yeah, alikata line mpaka akakosana na Moi kwa sababu alikuwa boy wa Moi deadly. Lakini pia Moi akiangalia akisema yeye ndo alifundisha kijana siasa.
So even with
he had to accept him.
Yeah.
with Ruto even coming in as much as he is dynasty, but if you compare him to Raila and UK, you can say that he is not, because his parents, he's not from a line of privilege or political
Chesire.
whatever.
Chesire, yeah.
Political career.
Oh, Ruben Chesire.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So ideally, I think the civic education, because now moving forward, are we start going to see Kenyans really dive into, let's say, for example, the Constitution? Are we going to see them dive into roles and functions, where if you're, you start demanding of your elected officials? Because I think this particular election was in essence a pronouncement. You cannot just navigate us like the way we want. I think Punda imechoka.
Mm-hmm.
And I think moving forward, my hope is that by 2027 that it will be more about what have you done for me lately versus huyo ni mtu wetu.
And then you see locally, counties, like constituencies are making their own independent decisions. When you look at a county like Kwale County, for example, Kwale County has produced a woman governor, Fatma Chani, and she's UDA. But Kwale County is 70%. They gave 70% the vote to Raila. Yeah, but on the part of governor, wame decide huyu mwenye alikuwa deputy wa Salim Vuria is the one they want, because Salim Vuria was really beloved, and Salim Vuria alianza kama ODM in 2013, and then in 2017 he went to Jubilee, and then sasa huyu deputy wake has run on UDA. Yeah. And she's won the governorship, but 70% of the vote in Kwale went to Raila.
You know what that is, Ali?
Mm-hmm.
What's causing people to start going now for issue-based leaders?
Mm-hmm.
Because people are seeing development in other areas.
Yes.
People are seeing that actually devolution works. If you put people who work, you don't
workers.
Yes.
Yeah.
So people are seeing that, and people actually want to do that. And that's why I tell people who say they don't want to vote and they say they want change, just look at the places where they've hired because it's hiring, right? They've hired leaders who are actually working for them, and that is where you get involved in, as in hizi places na vote independent, si wajinga wameka chini wakaangalia, si ati huu independent aliwapatia 50-50 mingi ama nini. No.
Wamejipanga. Meru has produced a female independent governor.
Actually, Meru walifuta Kiraitu kazi.
Yeah.
But Meru has always voted.
Meru has produced a female.
Look at that.
No, you're right.
Luntiri and Kiraitu walichapwa na independent.
Yeah.
Somebody knew, right? Because they know all these guys are just politicians. Wamepiga mdomo miaka mingi, wamekuwa in government, wajatusaidia. Let's try something new. So it's coming to a point whereby people have to get to know who their leadership is, who's working on them, and how things are. Pale wana voting in a vibes ni Nairobi.
But you know what? Let me support your point. I was talking to Keguro, an ardent 2017 he was ardent Jubilee.
Yep.
But now he's UDA.
He's UDA, yes.
But I was having a discussion with him some time back, and he said something that was very interesting that has been triggered by what Micah said, how people are voting for development. he was telling me it's along the lines of, if you watch most of the guys who are joining Ruto's camp, if you look at what they are doing in their niche, constituency or in their places, they are very development oriented.
Okay.
Like now Ndidi Nyoro, like when you look at what he does, kama ni stima, ni shule, whatever, that most of those guys are following the script of development.
Yeah.
And I think what Micah said, is true. We are yet to see, we're yet to see when everything is out, but Keguro's argument was that, most of the guys, or most of the young Turks who are coming in, or most of the guys who are joining Ruto, they are following what, his plan is more development, like he is, there's that cohesion of let us develop, and they're doing that locally. So it's like he has picked them up.
Yeah, because that's how you build a dynasty.
Yes.
Right? Mmoja alikuwa anapenda jia mabarabara, amefanya sijui nini alikuwa anaenda
gabions.
Yeah, anawanyima kitu, anafika mahali anawapatia pesa, mnatengeneza mnamsifu the whole time.
Yes.
Right?
Na maziwa.
Yeah, vitu ndogo ndogo.
Maziwa na biskuti.
So that's how you build a dynasty. You cannot build a dynasty. Unaona kama bado aliiba tu. So hakuna vile
lakini watu wake husema amefanya job Migori.
Yeah, amefanya job Migori.
But you see, here's a problem with this style of development that some of these members of parliament are doing. They're not looking at the long term. They're looking at what project will give them visibility.
Yes.
Kukiwa na project ambayo iko underground, maybe kuna mapipes zinawekwa ama maybe there's a sewer system that needs to be built where you cannot stick your name, that will not be done. But what they're doing a lot of buildings and a lot of projects that have visibility that will make them get re-elected. That's what's driving these projects. So you're seeing a lot of small projects which are so uncoordinated, which I think overall are not necessarily, yes, they're certainly helping some people, but I think if better coordinated, we could, if they take a long-term look, a 15, 20-year look, we'd have better projects. But now here is the caveat. CDF has been declared unconstitutional.
All right, let's.
So, which means
which means, one of the areas where a lot of MPs walikuwa wanakula ilikuwa ni CDF.
And I kind of agree with that.
Yes, I also agree. I know that people will disagree with me because watasema tio sijui basari ilikuwa hapo na nini, which first of all, I think it's so problematic to give a member of parliament, someone who's partisan, the ability to make a decision on who's gonna get a bursary in that in that constituency or not. I think that's very dangerous.
But I think the thought behind that was that because these are his people, he should know, or he should be able to work with people who are on the ground who should know. That was the thought behind it.
Yes, but remember,
I'm with you.
But remember,
he knows chief. Missing a pair chief.
But angalia chief,
people.
But chief anajua watu. Chief is not partisan. No, chief is not taking part in elections. But he's not taking part in elections.
Chief is a government employee.
You know what you do with bursary?
Yeah.
What they do have education boards, right? Those education boards are supposed to collect the data from the schools to know who can make fees, like everything. Educational boards usually run the schools. They're supposed to be looking at how the schools are running and looking at everything else, right? So the educational boards can be able to give you a clear picture of which students can afford and can't afford fees in that district. So there is a way for it to be done, and how to see who's falling behind because of poverty, and who's not falling behind because of, so they can see all that. They're supposed to be able to take metrics and see the performance, if it's improving or not, the performance of teachers. Maybe they don't do that, but that's what they're supposed to do. Mimi, the CDF, why I agree it should be taken out. MPs should be advocating for legislative.
Absolutely.
Wanafanya legislative work. Wanakuja na make laws, wanafanya. They should be working with the local government of the area and ensuring that your constituent, which is through a county, is getting representation to ask for money from the national government to come and help and build. Hiyo ndio job wanafaa kwa kikua.
Yes.
Wakilegislate bills wanajua tasaidia watu wao. Wanafaa kwa ka Congress huko.
No, yeah, not building gabions and cattle dips. You know, because
So, agreed.
So with CDF going away, that money is still there. Who's supposed to then now police this money?
So that's something. So you see, the Supreme Court,
Then the county,
the Supreme Court. So now Parliament has to come back and figure out, because that money, you know, because essentially what the Supreme Court said is that the members of Parliament are performing a function that's not supposed to be theirs. This is supposed to be an executive function. So I don't know whether they'll create, you know, like
so they're sorting it back, taking it back to the Orezo.
No. Supreme Court has just said this is unconstitutional.
So are they saying so they're saying it's executive? Which executive?
So the executive, it could be the county executive, it could be the national executive.
It has to go to the county governments to be able to do this.
Sense. Yeah. It makes sense. But then there's been this fight ya kumvutano ya pesa za kutoka gava back to the county. And like the counties have agreed, they've all agreed that the money should be X, but the money never seems to get there.
But let me ask you something.
This is even going to be worse.
Let me ask you something. Why do you think every year 95 hutengenezwa?
That's because we have systems at work, my friend.
95 hutengenezwa kila mwaka kwa sababu
hii
pesa gava upeana utengeneze barabara.
Federal money.
So how you
can our gava is not releasing money, even the counties are not are not getting the money. That's the problem.
So here there are two things here, Omosh, you know, like we don't want to confuse. So there's a portion of money that goes to the counties, which is the one that has an issue that you're talking about.
Correct.
But then there's also money, because remember, this national government is within Kenya. They're supposed to be doing
there's
projects
money for education,
within
for
Kenya.
health,
There's money for education, there's money for so many things.
Correct.
So now the what the CDF has done, it has made some of these members of parliament so lazy, you know, because they know the only thing that's going to determine their re-election is
dispensation,
is ECDF.
Yeah.
So they're not up there in parliament advocating for money from the national government. Let's say the national government has 70% and the counties have 30%, and then CDF is like 2%. These guys are supposed to be there in parliament or in Senate pushing for projects to come to their counties.
Correct.
But now, because their focus is down here on controlling
CDF,
this money, they've really lost it up there. And that's the reason why Gava has been doing so many things. There's no oversight, you know, like they're just doing whatever they want. There's some big projects that the government is doing.
But under the presidential,
but the government is going, they're going where they want to go and not necessarily where they should be going. Because people are pushing, and I know, you know, like some laws will have to be created and some arrangements will have to be made, because I think CDF had already been budgeted for this coming year.
Correct.
So I don't know exactly how that's gonna work.
How the dispensation and all that will happen.
But what I'm glad about is that this bread basket that a lot of MPs were eating for free from has been taken away, because that's part of the reason why a lot of people, it's not that 1 million shillings a month that's tax that MPs are running for. They're running for all these other CDF projects and all these
sitting allowance.
How I see the CDF should be done, right, is because it goes to every constituency.
Correct.
It should go to education.
It should be divided according to its role.
Yeah, according to education. Through the district education boards, talk to the schools, know which kids can't afford schools, meals, whatever, everything. Make sure that's sorted out in education. If there's money, agriculture, because what we wakulima bado, people have to get pesticides, have to get seeds, have to get all this stuff, agriculture. And bado kama kuna pesa, watengeneze barabara. Hata kama ni kutengeneza 1 kilometer every year, watengeneze barabara.
Yeah. You know, and those are national projects. When you take away
Maji,
because think about
you know, those things need to be there.
One of the reasons MPs complain is that they're being forced kuwalipia watu vitu nyingi. One of the biggest things that people request, you know, demand payments from the MPs from ni vitu kama medical bills, education. Though in fact those two things, medical and education, if they're properly taken care of, there are so many other things that are gonna take care of themselves. Tajipanga tu. Hapa Washeke anasema, some of these politicians remind me of some CEOs who only work to please analysts quarterly, but fail the company in the long run. And there's actually a book I'm currently reading. I can't remember the name of the author, but it's called Kill the Company. So essentially that book is talking about how the way organizations are traditionally run is kind of like killing innovation and creativity in the companies, whereby you're forcing people to only look at metrics, like quarterly sales. You're forcing people to look at short-term metrics, and that's what they're focused on. So they can't engage in projects that will not reward immediately, but which are gonna be good for the long term. And that's what killed companies like IBM. IBM were leaders when it came to the personal computer, but they were overtaken because of that focus on programs like Six Sigma, or or just certain programs whereby you're boxing your employees into thinking in this one way, and that cannot bring out their creativity, which I think is where our political system is, even to an extent here in America. But in Kenya, whereby the MPs are now seeing, like going to legislate is not bringing in any dividends. You could propose some of the best laws ever, and you will be voted out. You'll remember the famous MP who was called Joe Donde, who introduced some financial bill in Parliament, but he was voted out.
Yeah, he was voted out, but
Yeah.
and actually his bill is still being enjoyed by people up to now.
Yes.
When you borrow money and you have those low rates, low controlled rates, like
Yes.
the Donde bill.
It was the Donde
yeah.
bill, yeah. So, and there's so many, like there were so many people, so many progressive members of parliament, like from Embu, the former Runyanjes MP was called Njerugadangu. He was our neighbor in Nairobi West. He was voted out, and I think that started happening now. Like the CDF, the intent was good because the CDF was passed under Moi. During Moi's time, there was no money that was going to counties. There was no devolution. So the intent was good. And initially it started, like showing some promise and building
but
good
did they
projects.
also used to have like a committee that was not necessarily the MP? They had an actual committee with a chairman and a board, and they're the ones who decided how this money was being spent.
Yes. In 2013, I think, is when the MPs, they passed another law and they allowed the MPs to get involved. So that's when it became, like a gravy train.
Yes.
I think, like the CDF, I was listening to a podcast the other day, Throughline. It was talking about student debt in America.
Mm-hmm.
And how initially it was LBJ. Initially, it was a good thing, because you're looking at helping people. Like now for him, it was said that he borrowed a loan of $4,000 to pay for himself to go to college.
Yeah.
And paid back, modest interest, but it was affordable, it was manageable. But when he decided to now make it for the country to adopt it, that's why you have Salime, Fanime, and whatever, those are the guys, companies.
The Salime for student loans. Is
Yes.
Salime.
And the board members, it was a good idea, but the board members were who? Banks.
Yes.
Concept was good.
Yeah.
But
Conflict of interest.
Once those
stakeholders are always in there. They always have to be
once
there.
Once those Nyangaos came on board, it was another story. So yes, CDF, initially it was good.
Yeah.
But I think, like you say, and this is also one, it goes back to now civic education. Because even that thing of Serkal's idea, when you hear a kid is struggling, number one, in the county, or if you go to a constituency or whatever, Ana Pesa, but yet the CDF, you start wondering, okay, maybe what, let us look at let us relook at the government structure, functions, roles, and then from there moving forward we see what, because if and when we get to that place, after your CDF, I believe, once the citizens start getting there, because I think we've started taking that shift. We've made that turn.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We have made that turn, and clearly, I think this has been visible in this election. Like Micah was saying, like it's more or less, what have you done for me lately, that is starting to show.
Yeah.
Progressively, you're doing things. What once that turn starts making, it's about now you deliver for our services.
Yeah, and I also think there's some projects that are better coordinated nationally. There's some that are better coordinated within the county, and there's some that are better coordinated locally. The problem with CDF, if you take an example, with this new constituency boundaries, I can't remember, but I know in Nairobi, for example, the end of Langata constituency, now this is under the old constituencies, was Kongoni Primary School. So if you're voting in Kongoni Primary School, you are still in Langata constituency. There's that bridge that connects South C to South B. Now, when you go over that bridge, you're in another constituency, you're in Makadara. So now you have a situation where an MP for
Makadara was up.
But actually,
that's the old constituency.
Actually, Kitambo,
Kitambo, yeah.
South B iko Makadara.
Squeeze South B iko Makadara. I think it's in Embakasi or something.
Yeah. Zile move,
yeah. Makadara used to start there. So you see, so angalia, so look at it this way. Look at it this way. So you're an MP on this side. So let's say those are two different constituencies. So uko on this side, and then you decide maybe this side they need a school, and then across the bridge, this other guy also decides they need a school. Now these two schools are close to each other. You could have just built one school because these schools, they're serving the same kids.
Correct.
Kids, parents don't look at constituency lines when they're taking their kids to school. So you see, it would have been more efficient to do something different. And it could be, it's not necessarily a school, it could be a cattle dip, or pit latrine, or whatever projects that these MPs are doing. So they're inefficient. But there's some projects that are better, especially like education. It's better to look at it from a broader perspective. You see, like in this new system where they're trying to throw kids all over the place, there was one story that I was reading, a kid who did well in Mandera, made to a school in West Pokot. What is a kid in Mandera going to do in West Pokot? And how does a kid in Mandera get to West Pokot? Because,
and who's paying?
Yeah, because these are
holiday, akitoka holiday ataendaje?
Because utasema unampa free education, you're not paying for that transport. You're not paying that. There's so many logistical nightmares.
Buying the thing they need at school.
Yeah. There's so many logistical nightmares. Make sure, like kids can just go to their local schools. Yeah. Just make sure kids can go to their local schools, whereby if you have a kid, they've done, what they're supposed to do, they've met the requirements, they're going to the next level. Hakuna kusumbuana.
Fanya education iko to a point whereby, but they are national schools. All schools are performing so well. Anybody can, like, unajua vile huko America mtu uzaliwaga Baltimore City na kufia Baltimore City.
Yes, and
Atoki.
Yeah.
Washeke Ndreko says he's asking about the book that you mentioned. Is that by Lisa Bodell?
Yes, Lisa Bodell is the author.
Okay.
There you go. It seems Washeke ameisoma.
Now, let's see.
She's well Googled.
She says there was a time Kenyan MPs were almost considered a wonder of the world because they were being paid a lot for barely doing anything. By the way, Slay says, I vote in Kongoni. Where?
Kongoni, yeah, not Kongoni. What is Kongoni?
Voted. Washeke says, if impunity was a person, it would be the Kenyan ruling class, MPs, governors, presidents, etc. Elolota. Abantu banyambo remember no msakuru. Karibu sana. Where are the three systems of government in Kenya? Are they active and working? How effective are they in terms of service? Is law enforcement working? Accountability will make things move faster than expanding government, redlining and gerrymandering. So I wanted to ask something. We have seen that, and I think most people have mentioned over here. Because the CDF was declared unconstitutional, right?
Yes.
So I was talking to the same lady. We're having a discussion. I was trying not to really talk about the election. So we veered off into government and structure and stuff.
So you should have asked her you voted as a meal. Oh, sorry. Go on.
So she was asking, what do you think needs to be changed structure-wise or even in the constitution? And she talked about how women have actually been vying and winning. And then posed, correct, do we really need the 2/3 gender rule?
Where?
Honestly, I don't think so.
Wow.
Where? For
the Kenya of today and where we are, we still need it.
No.
Okay.
And I'll give my reasons.
Yeah.
The
Give your reasons and then let
yeah,
Micah
the
give his
reasons I'll give
too.
it is that this is, as we've seen, the whole affirmative action. That's what I'm going to call it, right? For women with the 2/3 gender rule, it brought women in to a point where they were at least part of taking a seat at the table, right? Whether they were elected or not, but they were there. Came in, women rep or whatever, nominated, right? Then the next, after 2 cycles or so, then now everyone is used to having them in office, that they can even go and vie for office. But to me, I don't think we are there yet. We probably need 1 more cycle, in my opinion. And then we could really think about this, because I think that 1 more cycle is actually going to open us up to the point where people don't have a problem with electing a woman who has not necessarily been sitting. They're not going to have a problem with seeing her on the ballot.
No, Omosh, for me, I will not give it to that. I will not give them the flowers for that. I'll give the flowers to the Maendeleo ya Wanawake and the Empowering a Girl Child program that started back in the 90s, right? These are the women who are right now, because the thing is this, we never used to see women CEOs. We never used to see women head radio presenter, TV presenters.
Correct.
Yeah, there was a man who was there and a woman was there to complement that. But these days we see women are the one who are holding it. They take, like, social media has also come in, and then these young women are seeing women empowering themselves, doing stuff and building for themselves. We have gotten to a point whereby women are so empowered, they believe in themselves, and they believe that they can be able to deliver and and be the leaders that they are, and people actually seeing it and actually believing it. You know what? There's no some man who's just gonna be here and expect you to bow to him because he's a man and is in power. Most of the women who were given the 2/3 were being given the 2/3 gender rule for parties to achieve that, nominated women, right? And most of those women who were nominated didn't do stuff for any women. They were there. A lot of laws that were passed to harm women were passed to those women voting
Sitting
for those
in office,
laws,
yeah.
right? And they're there. So it goes into a point where I believe women realize they have the power, can control the power, they've taken the power, because women are the ones who actually were swaying elections in Kenya. They were the highest voting demographic in Kenya. They realize it's getting to a point whereby we can see somebody who's with us. Aongei tu ati kelele atipigie huyu kura jumini mwanamke, but they actually see. Remember, women in Kenya wamekuwa na chamas from
from a long time ago.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
So they know how they can work when they
get together.
band together, right?
Correct.
So if they can find other women who they know their leaders who are good at that, they believe in all that. So it's not strange for them. All they need to do is just to see how it's happening, and they saw those who have been chosen for them and were not working for them, and now they've decided to do the choosing themselves. We are seeing how generation changes. You take away generational ideologies or curses, the way you like to call them. We won't see the result now, but our kids will see the results. So we are seeing the result of women empowering in Kenya coming into fruition right now.
Let me let you go, and then I'll come in. Uno.
No, so to support what he's saying, the lady said, listen, you are having women running for deputy president,
or being chosen.
Yeah.
They're running
as
running mates, right? Projected results, let's say, for example, like in Nakuru, you're seeing a sweep.
It wasn't a sweep.
No, whatever.
Yeah.
However you look at it. Like when you look at our friend, Umar, Umra.
Yeah. But she did not win.
She did not win, however, participating. But the UDA, whatever, the deputy won. I mean, you're seeing instances where at one point in time, like if you look at maybe Kihika, if you look at Moranga County, you look at someone like Betty Maina, whatever, you running on UDA, getting elected. Or okay, put it this way: we are waiting to see the results once everything is finished. But the participation of women, their participation, being participants, going out there looking for votes, seeking for votes, because again, for me, I'm still learning, but then I tried to find out what was, maybe the 2/3 gender rule was in place so that you can have a nominated, unachagua mtu mwanamke anachaguliwa nawekwa. But if they are able to do this, you don't need this, because if they're being elected, then you don't need this.
Now, this is where I think I would love to hear women's comments, because we're a bunch of 4 men here.
Yes.
So women, like Washeke, Slay, please. And Slay saying an empowered woman's impact is felt more than a man's. And then let me see.
So does that mean that we get rid of women reps?
No, but here's the thing.
I actually think it's a useless position.
No, but this is my view. I'm looking at it in a more nuanced way, rather than in a blanket way. Because the blanket way is saying all the women who came in as women reps have done nothing. Which I think
not all of them. Some of them have worked.
That's not perfectly accurate. So there's some of them who've worked, and then there's also a lot of these people who came in as women reps have been able to mature into becoming members of parliament, for example.
They've morphed into other positions.
Yes.
Into Mishimboko, for example, in Mombasa, and there are quite a number of others. There's some who I think are ran for governor. I don't know whether there's any of the women governors. I think so far we have seven female governors who've been declared, and I don't know whether there's any of those 7 who was previously a woman rep. I need to go back and check. I need to go back and check.
Kihika? She didn't start off there?
No.
She started as an MP?
Yeah.
Okay.
That I'm not sure, but
Sioni bibi mdogo wa Kihika Kimani. Yeah.
Is that the daughter, Ama? That's Kihika Kimani's daughter.
Was it daughter? No, I think it's
no, I think it's daughter.
Daughter, I think.
I think it's daughter. I think it's daughter, yeah. And I think alikuwa naishi US at some point.
Yeah.
She used to live in the US at some. So my thinking, this is
New York. I think she was in New York.
This is how I'm looking at it.
Daughter, they're saying daughter.
Yeah. This is how I'm looking at it, is that this will create a stepping stone. To me, what my view is on the woman rep seat, I think it should remain there, but there should be an expiry date for it. Because the idea is for it to lift up women in a space that's a bit hostile for them. It's a fact that it's a very hostile. Politics is a very hostile ground for women, not only in Kenya, in so many countries in the world,
everywhere.
But then we also have to ask ourselves, how come Uganda, Tanzania, even Somalia have been able to achieve that 1/3 gender rule without a law? So we have to ask ourselves fundamentally, what exactly is it that we are doing wrong in Kenya? Yet we consider ourselves progressive. Even when you look at in the previous parliament, I've not looked at the makeup of this parliament, but in the previous parliament, if you looked at the women who are elected, the percentage was not much higher than what women were getting before we got devolution. So we have to fundamentally ask ourselves what the issue is. My only issue with this 1/3, 2/3 gender rule, whatever we want to call it, is a technical one. Meaning, if we have a situation where we have 290 members of parliament, we have 47 women representatives. If we have a situation where all the 290 people who are elected are men, and then we have only 47, now do we add many other women so as to get that 1/3, which might be hundreds of people you have to add? So to me, my issue is mathematical and technical, which I think needs to be creatively sorted out, because the last
parliament didn't even have the 2/3.
They didn't have it.
They did not.
Yeah. They did not have it.
They did not, because
and actually Maraga wanted the whole parliament to be dissolved. Because of that.
Yeah.
But I think they need to find a creative way of achieving that 1/3 for women.
I think it's the voter. If the voter is not voting, what are we supposed to do other than using some sort of?
But you see, Omosh, when you say the voter, the ground is hostile. The ground is hostile.
The ground is hostile because, Omosh, if a presidential candidate goes on top of a campaign podium and says that mimi nibiwe kura mimi mwanamke, What respect do you expect people
And then,
to have for women?
And then, violence. There's so many things.
So
that's why there's affirmative action.
The misogyny and the toxic masculinity in that country is too high. It needs to come down.
So then, if we get rid of this process or get rid of this affirmative action, are we doing right by them?
So the thing is,
because you're either going to have to retrain the voter
do you know I don't
force them.
Do you know I don't agree with the affirmative action, right? It's because on the affirmative action, you clearly see the people who are being nominated are props, right? Just for the sake of it. I will come, if you've ever noticed, each party will look at a place where they can't penetrate, like there's some uncertainty. Then they will say we nominate our daughter.
OneMic.
There's tokenism. Yeah.
We nominate our daughter as the woman rep. Uyu. That's why we've seen people have been nominated already, even before elections.
Correct.
No, that's a law.
Yeah, it's a law. Yes,
that's a law.
But I'm agreeing it's the law, but I'm saying it's like an ace. Nikawa kona joker. Wanaanza kadi na wakona joker kwa mkono.
Wanangoja pick 50.
Yeah, wakona joker wako ready nayo, unaona?
Yeah.
So they're not even doing it as in, let's say I want to nominate, right? Maybe not I could nominate and I'm thinking, okay, I need to nominate somebody. Then I'm thinking my nominations Ule will be very good for communications and stuff like this.
Yeah.
This one will be good for education and I need. No. I'll do my nomination based on what's going to give me the most seats in parliament. Right? Vilomesema tokenism, napeana. So it defeats the purpose because now these people who have been nominated, they know like Nika position ceremonial. They don't have to do anything.
The reason why I would never be against affirmative action is because I've seen it work. Not only by gender, but also by race here in the US. I've seen it work. Like I've seen it, get people who, a lot of these people who are currently maybe sometimes even Congress people, or even in very senior positions, CEOs, at some point they are beneficiaries of some kind of affirmative action.
Whether on education, sports.
So that's the reason, like even Title IX was a form of affirmative action. We would not have WNBA and all these other women's sports thrive if it wasn't for Title IX. So
as an introduction, it's supposed to be there.
Yes.
But at some point it has to go.
But Title IX never went.
It never went.
It's still there until today.
Do you know which country I will tell you affirmative action is failing? Look at South Africa. Or like affirmative action back at sports. Right? And it's taken them down. Their rugby team has to have a certain number of black players. Their soccer team has to have a certain number of white players. Cricket, the same thing.
So I can't...
it gets to a point where affirmative action, yes, works.
So I
but
can't...
Idaf Kamali mnafa kui...
I mean, I can't speak for South Africa because I've not lived there, so I personally can't speak for it. But like we've seen it work here in the US. We cannot doubt say that it has worked to a certain level. Affirmative action is not a perfect solution. It's not a silver bullet. But to me, I think it's just a path. It's a connection that allows like a marginalized group to be able to get a stepping stone, to be able to get where the other people are. But now I think that there should be a better creative way of doing this, and maybe we need to go to benchmark in places like
diversity.
We need to go benchmark in our neighbors on how they're achieving it without necessarily having a rule that this is how it's supposed to be. Now just going to the comments here real quick. Akinya Doyo says maybe the focus should be on patriarchy and its cousins, not gender. And then Sleodor says she agrees with me. Slay says, I have a question. If Martha Karua vied, do you think people would have voted for her, or would it be a replica of the US when Hillary stood against Trump? Now, Martha actually vied in 2013, and she didn't perform well.
She
got votes. She didn't perform well.
She got what, 100K?
Mwalimu Dida, who came from nowhere, got more votes than Martha Karua. For those who remember the 2013 election, she got more votes.
Dida was the Wajakoya of that year.
Yeah, actually Dida was not the Wajakoya. Dida got votes, got a good chunk of votes.
No. Yeah. I'm saying like he was the buzz. The buzz of that year.
He had the buzz of that year, but his buzz matched. Like he got quite a number of votes. And then Washeke says, as much as we are progressive, patriarchy still has its claws in our politics. Women have to fight extra hard to garner any respect, even from fellow women. So that's
That's what Micah was saying.
That's the point Micah was bringing up.
Sometimes women are their own worst enemy.
Yeah, and Washeke
right,
further
that's said
says, just look at how Karua has been demonized for being divorced.
1,000,
Yeah.
1 million, 1 trillion%.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
agree.
There's a lot of men who are divorced, but that's never
never
used as a
changing.
barometer to
Yeah.
to
Wakiagi
judge
shida kwa
men.
single mothers.
Yeah.
Ni kama walijizalisha.
By the way,
Yeah.
single mother.
In
but
Kenya
not
wazee
knowing that-
wanakuwa wamedharauliwa, unaweza fikiria ni kama walijizalisha wenyewe.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting you guys bring that up, and I'm going to throw this in for a quick second. That a single guy who's running for office can have a sex scandal, which will bring him down. But then if he's married and the wife forgives him, life moves on.
Smoothly.
And everybody forgives him. Literally to the point, if you're a single guy who has had a sex scandal and you go and you get a wife after that, and you even release the sex tape and you say, I'm sorry, and your wife forgives you, unaendelea na watu wako poa.
But guys who are involved in sex scandals, I don't think they have any consequences in Kenya. Prime example, Mike Sonko. Look at Mike Sonko and Shebesh. So Mike Sonko became more popular.
And Shebesh alikufa kabisa.
That was the end of her career.
Limmaliza kabisa.
That was the end of her career. Remember what when the judiciary, the new judiciary had just been formed, the deputy CJ Nancy Baraza,
The slap.
Pinch somebody.
The pinch
she went and
slap
beat
or
somebody,
whatever, or threatened, or,
and her career ended. We've
And
had
even Matakarua, what actually deemed Matakarua's light? When they were carjacked with the nani? With that priest.
with the father Kaiser.
Yes.
And they say that she was having an affair with that priest. That like literally.
And then look at like we've had members of parliament who've killed people. Like Obado. We've had Babu Owino who's been re-elected.
Boy Barasa.
Dismas Baraza. Just got.
Babu did not.
Babu got re-elected.
No,
He didn't kill.
He didn't kill.
Oh, he shot someone. Yeah,
He shot somebody.
Yeah, he shot
Person
someone.
survived.
Yeah, he survived. Yeah, that's true.
Baraza
I take that back.
Killed.
Yeah.
has killed. But now he's talking about he has to find out what was the statement that he released?
I don't know what the
He also he
Like
said
that he has to find out-
he's going to cooperate with police because he also wants to know.
what
He wants
happened.
to find the truth. What happened? What happened for the young man to die?
Or some shit like that.
Yeah, but now with women, you just need to go and
Don't even go far. You guys, you know, again, Ruto is campaigning in Kitui, and talks about Ngilu. In no uncertain terms, talking about huyo sasa, how can a divorcee get a letter? How can a divorcee get a man? Because she joined Raila.
yeah.
Right? Those are the things, demeaning,
when they campaign, huyu mama sasa atafanya nini?
Atafanya nini?
Yeah.
Those are the things, because what if that was your mother? What if Charity Ngilu was your mother?
That's right. Yeah.
Una get?
Yeah, I know. And these are the things
And those are the things that Micah is talking about, and the Akina Washeke are saying, the patriarchy, at some point it has to change.
It has to change. And I think this conversation on women, we want to hear more women talk about
Yes,
it. This
instead
is
of just chatting.
Yeah.
Instead of just chatting.
yeah.
No, they were looking at
2026
Mika's hair.
Yeah.
But then you endelea now comment.
I think actually Mika got inspired by you, Omosh. And I
Asha.
think
But then that is by
when I'm inspired midlife
I'm
crisis.
not baseline. How am I
Midlife crisis young it is very
how am I baseline?
If you all see me with cornrows at some point, just blame it on Omosh.
How am I baseline?
No, you've inspired. Like you're our leader here.
You're the two that's gender role.
You're our
Hebu
leader here.
soma comments.
Where-
Na usisome ya slay. Soma
Ali.
comments lakini si ya slay.
Tell them he's our 2/3 gender rule.
Yes, you're our affirmative action.
Affirmative action.
Soma comments na usisome za slay.
Okay, wacha nisome kwanza Kenya. Anasema the idea of inclusion is an illusion. The marginalization we speak of happens because of prejudice that created the systems we are being included in no sense of belonging whatsoever. And then Slay anasemake msifanye Wajakoya example, there is no accountability in Kenya. Washeke anasema Kenya is harm. People caught on camera doing a crime and still get elected. That's very true. And then
hiyo ni Kenya sihami.
yeah, and then Slay anasema give us grace please, pot calling the kettle black. And then we have Kiki Karaoke, Kiki Karibu Sana. She says women have a lot of power to change and shift things, but in the same strength and power they hold, it also destroys
That's
them
true.
in the equal measure. So yes, so quite a number of quite a number of issues that whoever will take over the next, is it next week or in 2 weeks or in 3 weeks,
whatever it is.
After 14 days.
But
yeah,
I think we should also, we've discussed this, but I think maybe what do you think? What do you look forward to? What do you
expectations.
What are your expectations? We have Chambuat, we have over Chambuat, but we're gonna get a new R. We're gonna get a new R and a new Wa. I mean A.
But looking by the provisional numbers,
Yeah.
looking by especially on the wachana huko kwa executive, on the legislative part of it, right?
Mm.
It's kind of seems close to a near balance, right? And I think there will be a lot of bipartisanship that has to happen
Mhm.
for some things to happen. There'll be a lot of people crossing the floor and coming
Yeah.
through. Yeah.
Power of incumbency.
Yes. So they will have to work together, regardless of who wins. They will have to work together. They will have to figure out a way on how to, if they want to govern the country, that is, they just have to. It will have to be inclusive, because akuna party blow the other one out of the water in terms of them holding more seats in one.
And if they're gonna deliver service to the people,
and then you have a lot of
they have
independents too.
Yeah.
You have a lot of independents. I don't know how many independents have been elected to parliament. I know we already have, like, I think it's 2 independent governors in Meru, and I can't remember the other independent governor is from where, but I think there's
Lamu
2.
West? No, sorry. No,
There's
no.
two.
Who
There's
won
2.
between
There's 2
Kidero,
independent
you said
governors.
Meru, right?
Kidero
Wanga.
and Wanga? Oh, Wanga won.
Wanga. But
Wanga won.
Kidero is going to
No, UDA bloggers had already awarded the victory to Kidero. But Wanga is the one who actually won. But
I know Ekodida won as an independent.
the governor, I think it's I'm not sure, but I think it's Taita Taveta. I think John Rutu ran as an independent. So I think and that's he's formerly an ODM.
No, there's an independent is in Meru, right? The one who beat Lintiru and
yes, the lady,
the
lady who beat them. And then there's Taita Taveta. So yeah. So I think like there will have to be bipartisanship. Now Chris Moesh says I think it's all about inferiority complex from men. They think the easiest way to attack strong women leaders is on their sexuality, which happens a lot. Like we've seen the likes of Donald Trump do it. We've seen so many other leaders doing it. But as far as expectations, I was very involved with the Azimio campaign and with what the expectations of the diaspora, and we have them in the Azimio manifesto. So to me, I think it's very instrumental for Azimio to move forward the diaspora agenda, and the diaspora agenda may be different for different people. One very low-hanging fruit that I think they can do very quick, and I think the embassy has already started, is consular services. Yep. Get consular services to the people, make it efficient, make it, that's the easiest way, first of all, to endear yourselves.
Ali, it's interesting you say this. We've talked about this, carrying the consular services and going to different cities, like the embassy moving from point A to point B, point C, and so on and so forth, right? The current ambassador went to Texas.
Yes.
And was registering people. He had a meet and greet, blah, blah, they were registering people. They were doing passports, and they were doing, were they doing IDs? I'm not sure if they did IDs.
They were doing IDs too.
They were doing IDs as well in Texas. And then I think they were supposed to go to, was it Minnesota? I think they were supposed to go. I think they were supposed to go to Minnesota.
Yeah,
right?
they're supposed to go to Minnesota, Texas, and I think they were starting with that. Then I heard there was an agenda for Jersey. I think there was Jersey, Atlanta,
but the whole
New York,
idea,
and then,
I don't know why I would go to Jersey, but that's just me. I wouldn't bother going to Jersey because New York is there. Those people can take themselves. But if you ask me, but again, hey, maybe
but you see,
but then also,
but
then
you
you
see
see the Jersey. There's a huge demographic of people in Jersey, and if they call you, you have to answer.
But you see,
that's why I don't know if that's what they were
not to
basing
get
it on.
distracted, not to get distracted. But I think overall, like they just have to make it permanent.
It has to be a continuous flowing process.
Yes,
and
where there's a timetable when you know that on this day they are
hata hivyo, forget even that just going everywhere, right? The major holdback right now ni hiyo story ya sijui kurenew passport unaenda mpaka next year. Appointments.
So that's that's an issue affecting all Kenyans.
So if they could just find a way, because the thing is, most of the people here in the appointment uko kupigwa, and many Kenyans complain about it. So unapanda ndege kuchukuliwa fingerprints na kupigwa picha.
Correct.
Right?
So biometrics,
biometrics, right? Like, so if they can just find a way of how to clear that up, mtu achukui months, or they find a way on how they can do it or outsource it and do it.
It's possible to do it. I just don't know how I was gonna say invested, or how critical enough they think it is.
I just think
now you see, to me, not to get distracted from what our expectations are for the upcoming government, is it's very simple. Just make it permanent. Elolotse here is saying that the embassy failed big time in Texas. I don't think they took it serious. Poor execution, and I agree. A lot of people complained. It was their first time.
They said it was there was lines.
Yes.
It was chaotic.
Yeah,
there was some things.
It was the first time. When you make it permanent, like you're gonna
and
line.
You're used to it, and the
volumes.
staff also. The PR watu wanajua and
make it like a 2-month affair. Every 2 months you're in a different city. Like how you rotate different cities is 2 months affair.
So just make it more efficient. And I think whichever government will come in, that will be the easiest and quickest way to endear yourselves to the diaspora. That's where people are gonna start feeling the impact of the government if they're actually doing their work.
Yeah.
So to me, that's one expectation. To me, the next expectation is in as far as the diaspora is concerned, when it comes to making decisions on the table. I know, like getting a representation that may require, something as far as a constitutional amendment, because people with foreign passports are not allowed to be elected officials in Kenya. So that might require constitutional amendment, but they can figure out a way of doing it, like either through a ministry. This thing of having it in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, that's not that we are not their priority. They have other priorities. So there's been talk of having a Ministry of Diaspora, or even if it's not a ministry, like have it in another ministry, but make it have a significant docket. Where you're gonna be dealing with issues, and not only the US. Like people in Qatar have their own issues. People in Saudi Arabia have their own issues.
I was gonna say the second thing that they should do after the ease of consular services.
Yeah.
I think the most important thing they have to do is figure out how to fix the issue of Kenyans who go to the Gulf, because actually they are the hugest, the huge number of diasporans than us at Sisi. As in, if you look at it, compare the countries. Dubai, Oman, Qatar, if you compare the whole Gulf area, ni wengi kushinda in the sea water, right? And that's the easiest place for most Kenyans to go, especially those who don't have any skills or anything. So they should figure out a way on how to protect those people.
Like the Philippines is doing it. Indonesia is doing it.
Philippines. India started doing it. Sri Lanka started doing it. Like all these other countries are doing it. So we have to start doing that. Protecting the rights of our people, make noise. Mkenya mmoja akiteswa, so Amnesty International is involved, because the government has made so much noise that the whole world is looking into it. They have to figure out a way on how to take care of these people. Otherwise, as hata wakitusaidia sisi na consular services, at some point it will even out. Then
Yes.
I mean, I think that thing of just, simple passport ID, it shouldn't be. It should be a no-brainer. It just should be.
I mean, it should be.
It should be.
It should not be as complicated
I know.
as it
Yeah,
is.
almost.
Yeah. It should not be as complicated as it
It
is.
shouldn't be.
Yeah.
And I'm in agreement with Micah. I think you look at like now, for example, the Gulf. I think that probably should also be one of those guys, one of those places. You look maslahi, unajalia maslahi watu
Yeah.
wenu.
And remember, those people are out there, which means that they're also sending a lot of money back.
Unafikiria
They're
mbona
sending
nini?
a ton
Why
of
do you
money back.
why do you think nini foreign exchange is the main import of diaspora remittance is the main nini is the highest source of foreign
Or
exchange,
foreign exchange, yeah.
right? Kwa sababu ya watu wako huko na nini like ase pia utumado tuka sisi.
Yeah, and it's like 5% of the GDP. So that's bigger than certain sectors. And Elolotsa is saying Elolotsa Kwanza wants us to discuss the Diamond Show controversies. But this week I don't know whether we have the bandwidth to discuss that. But
it was not a controversy.
Yeah.
Diamond just came in, made his money and left.
Yeah, no, talk about Diamond Show controversy. No, I think what Elolotsa meant, or maybe I'm remixing his statement.
Artists.
I think he's talking about that Nigerian artist who went to
No.
to Tanzania.
I like the deflection.
My thinking. No, just my thinking. My thinking. Nimekuwa nikiwatch a lot of elections.
Let me tell you. Let me say something, and it's going to piss off a lot of artists, right? Tuko kwa ile group ya wasanii, si ndio?
Yes.
Somebody suggested to them they should reach out to politicians and work with them during campaign. Wakatukana huyo mtu. Then at the last minute when they called Diamond wanataka kulia,
Now,
priorities. Mulikata kuwa na politicians, but you want their money.
Unajua hiyo issue Diamond, and this is where
I guess we are going right into what
no, but real quick now that Micah amefungua,
kuna places zingine Kenyan artists complain a lot, but in reality wenyewe you should be good.
But here is what I want to tell Kenyan artists, and here I'm speaking as a fan of music, because I don't want someone to jump on me and tell me
and
not an
Ali's
artist.
views do not represent the views of the OneMic show.
Yeah, but here I'm representing the views of a lot of people who are fans of music.
Of Ali Badawy.
No, who are fans of music.
Yes. And Ali Badawy himself.
No, who are fans of music. So this thing of trying to pretend that I don't do politics. Oh, I'm neutral. Oh, I'm this. Oh, I'm that. It's okay if that's your choice. But then if that's your choice, do not complain when you see another artist who chose to take a position, make big money. Diamond, I would have loved to see a Kenyan artist. There were Kenyan artists in that Azimio event.
Femi One was one of them.
Femi One was one of them. But I would have loved to see a Kenyan artist headline it. But here's the thing. Diamond in Tanzania, he's taken positions in Tanzanian elections, and a lot of Tanzanian musicians, they do that.
They do.
Here's one thing I wanna let you know as a fan. If you're an artist and you're listening to me, I'm telling you as a fan, if your game is up there as a musician, whether you go sing for Trump, whether you go sing I don't know for who, will not make us stop listening to you.
People will listen to your music.
People will still listen to your music. So if your thinking is that, if I go, to this side, these other guys might not like me. If your game is up there, if you're a good artist, people may be pissed for like a day, but guess what? They will go back on Spotify, they will go back on YouTube, they will be telling you just to play music.
But if I may ask, when Sauti Sol put Azimio team on the back career,
on blast.
See, there was a retribution.
I don't know if I would say there was necessarily
no.
There was a retribution.
What was the retribution?
There was no
the thing on YouTube. It never existed.
There was no retribution.
There was
no retribution on their music.
There was not. People are still listening to Sauti Sol.
Listen, it was just politically like Sauti, political kelele. And if I was Sauti Sol, if I was the business manager, ningewaambia unajua nini? Okay, fine. Nimetumia kitu, right? Fine. Then mnaifurahia, right? Continue using it. Let's talk a deal, and then you guys are political parties. Ama mtakuwa na launch manifesto, ama labda mtakuwa na inauguration party. if it reaches to that, to invite Cecil, we are the one who wants to make business out of that. If you understand the business of music, people do that. Upper states, how many people have we seen celebrities come out and say, this is my choice, right?
Yeah.
People abuse them on Twitter. Those guys do art. They make money from that art.
They make money.
Same people.
Yeah. So I think what Diamond did, do you know he just invested in the next 10 years? And I'm not saying who's going to win tomorrow, like Baba, but I'm just saying he's invested in the next 10 years. That's basically, that's what he did. It was a very quick show that he did. But I think the more important thing that he was doing was establishing a relationship.
By the way, your group, by the way, your group iliwaka. Your group.
Iliwaka moto.
Uzuri mupenda Ngash. Ngash wambia ukweli. Hii ni wajinga. Wacheni kupiga kelele. Like, it's true, because honestly, I didn't understand what the noise was about. This is somebody who came to do business.
Yeah.
He came to make money.
Exactly.
You could have done the same yourself. Wewe umekaa hapo unasema sijui sitaki kuonekana na support politician mgani ama nini. Sawa, sit home.
But I didn't see them make noise when Trio Mio was over there performing in the same venue.
No, but Trio Mio is a Kenyan. Trio Mio is a Kenyan.
No, but
so the issue was that
I get it. No, but the whole point of it is, even if you think about it, there were more established acts than Trio Mio at that point, even though
but the issue with Diamond,
shida mbona nini walikuwa wanaona Trio Mio ni kama najichoma, ataonekana amealign to side moja. Unaona vile nani huyu maisha ni yangu,
yes,
wewe shughulika na yako,
unaona
vile anaenda side ya Uda, right?
Yeah.
And people were talking sijui nini. Mi bado sikiza ngoma zake.
Yeah.
Ngoma zake ni kali bado. Sikiza ngoma zake.
Correct.
Like he does, he made his money. He was smart, he made his money and he moved on.
Yeah.
He moved on. Shida ni wengi wanaona ni kama huyu jamaa amefanya Trio Mio atajieka hapa ajili. Unajua ni, wacha nikwambie, Diamond coming to perform that thing is the same way you and your artistry goes and curtain raises for Omale. Hakuna difference hata kabisa. Unasema unaenda kumekdo, that's why unakatendezia mnaija na kuja kwa mainstream Nairobi. Guess what? Huu ni msee aliona poritia kumekdo, vile ile poritia kumekdo,
yeah,
akachukua contract, akamekdo na akaenda.
Yeah.
Learn how to do that. Kenyan artists, si watetea, si wabeba. Saa zingine pia jibebeni.
No, I think it's important for artists to learn how to take positions. Don't be afraid of taking positions. Hata kama ni position ambayo, like unaona fan wako kama Ali hata furahia, like, yeah, if your art is up there, art is something that you can't, like you can't decide because the artist is this type of person, so I don't like this art. If art is good, it's good. So hiyo kitu ya kwanza kusema sijui nini ama nini, take positions, like make sure you make money from this government.
Hata Michael Jackson alikuwa anaishi Saudi Arabia na anaimba huko na bado alikuwa anarudi huku, wazungu wanaja huko wanafurahia Kenya, like what.
So unaona Washeke anasema Beyonce does private shows for those regimes known for human rights abuses, but we still buy her music. And Elorota seems to disagree with us. He says, you guys are so wrong in your thoughts. Maybe you can type up and tell us,
let him call, see he has a number.
Let's not even go far. I'm sure there are very many fans of R. Kelly.
Yeah, and people are still listening to his music.
Yep.
Despite what he did.
Even before what he did, even what he did. What's his name? D.L. Hughley one time said, I'll continue supporting R. Kelly the way you keep on supporting the national anthem. Because many people don't know that the national anthem itself, there's a stanza missing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it is missing because
it's racist.
It's racist. Unanyamazisha mtu hivyo. But hopefully in the long run, like we said, I think tomorrow we expect whatever we expect.
Yeah.
But I think looking forward, it is important maybe to start assessing, the future. I think it just is, because we are going to get a new president.
Yeah.
And as diaspora folks, don't fall asleep.
Yes.
Our issues are the same regardless of party affiliation, tribe, whatever. Our
100%.
issues are freaking the same. And if you think that there's some separation between me and you, and you're in Texas and I'm here, sorry, tuko same beat. The only difference is I'm closer to the embassy. So when
We're in
there's,
the same WhatsApp
when
group,
there's
yeah.
something that needs to be done, then I can run there.
Unakumbuka Trump alikuwa anachukiwa, si ndio? Alitoa stimulus, si Democrats alitoa stimulus.
Chewed it.
Si walirarua.
We chewed it like an nonsense.
Yes, of course.
like a nonsense.
Haya.
Yeah.
Biden aliandika tax laws akareduce bei ya mafuta. Republicans wamekata kuweka mafuta kwa gari. Si wanaweka bado.
Wameweka mafuta mpaka zingine wamezeka kwa jerrycans.
Hii siasa kwa tu time ya kura. After kura
like Mandela said,
breathe it out. Weka kwa lungs.
Weka kwa lungs. Weka kwa roho. Weka kwa lungs. So that you can just breathe it out. And with that said, wahenga walinena kilicho na mwanzo hakina budi kuwa na mwisho. Meli imetia nanga for like about 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Let's wrap this puppy
What
up.
are you saying? Are you saying that we don't have a show until after Labor Day?
Oh, in fact, let's have that discussion right about now. Ndoma fans wajue.
Yeah, so
you know, like when
I
need to take a break.
Mumesema mfanzo on HR meeting ikiaverava live.
Hapa transparency Chebukati style. Transparency ka Chebukati.
Yani hizi
tunaweka form 34A hapa.
Sasa but tunapiga madhafu ndio iwe alafu ndio tunaannounce.
Tuko na holiday 2 3
gani
inauguration, Labor Day na birthday Omosh. Na zinafuatana zote pupu.
Damn. We?
By the way, omenye ogwo. Omenye ogwo.
I agree.
So hiyo 3 week break inaweza.
How? Ali just say how.
How? Nejeka.
Hiyo 3 weeks break inaweza.
So unaona, so hapa mafans wa vote, you know, like how long they want us to go away. You know, because sasa this week tuko the 12th, and then the next Friday is 19th. Kasama kanaisha. Pia sisi tunataka kuenjoy kasama kitu kidogo. Kuna 19th, and then kuna
Labor Day weekend. So
the other one, no, 27th. Is it?
No, it's 27th, then the weekend after that is
no, your weekend. 27th is Friday. So 28th is Saturday, 29th is Sunday, 30th.
27th is Saturday. So
27th is Saturday.
Is going to be the Friday.
26th is going to be the Friday.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think 30th is a Tuesday, because I know if there's no petition, this is, you know, like in a perfect world in the coming election, that's a date. That's 30th is going to be the Tuesday, the 30th. That's going to be the swearing in date. If there's no petition,
you should plan your swearing.
You should plan to get your ticket.
So we should plan a petition. We should plan for a petition. So that means if there's a petition, the swearing in date is going to be on Tuesday, September the 13th. So there's a lot of moving parts here. And then
so
are
you trying to get us to move with you for inauguration, or which one are you?
No, I'm just throwing this out there. I'm letting the fans decide, you know, like how many weeks you should take a vacation. No, I'm letting the fans decide, because this is the last show before we take a break.
We are taking a break until Labor Day. Until after Labor Day. Now, when we come back after Labor Day, it will be subject to your inauguration.
Yeah, it will be subject to...
I think that's the way we should do it.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
So, because some of us here are going to be in the inauguration committee.
So basically,
tentatively,
we are coming back on the 9th of September. Tentatively.
Barring.
Yes. You unajua, by the way, yo siku ni birthday yangu.
So be the holiday.
so there's a lot of moving parts. Na mi wasipatangi gifts, sijui kwa nini, you know. So just so you guys know.
It's after
okay, so
yeah, just so you guys know,
we will come between the 9th and the 16th. Most probably the 16th, but
I think
no, but we need a summer break. Hatuko na summer break.
No, hatuko na summer break, yeah.
So, some of us also have families. We need to spend time together. Tujapeleka watu holiday, right? Is it Friday, Joe?
Watu kwa kununua maua.
Bana. So
we Ulrika nasema ati we go for 1 more week. And then let me see.
No, we can't do it.
Slay anasema wekeni kwa public portal.
Wow. Slay got jokes. By the way, Ulrika, so you just post the link, because, you know, she's been nominated for D Awards. And she wants people to vote. So Ulrika, weka post let the fans vote. Tafadhali, please.
Okay. Yeah, sawa. So
she's
Right?
saying she got a song about to drop. Will you let us know what the song is?
You,
And
you,
we'll
you
let-
know,
we'll
you
let
know
our
who to
peeps
give
know.
it to? DJ OmoshFaya. That's the guy.
Yep.
That's
We'll
the
let-
guy.
Yep.
That is the music portal guy.
Mhm.
So I think tentatively tumekubaliana the 9th,
Yeah.
barring
Unforeseen.
unforeseen circumstances.
The 9th tumekubaliana, the 9th ama the 16th.
No, the 9th, kama inauguration haitakuwa pushed.
Okay.
If it's pushed,
See, if
it's up to the
inauguration
16th.
is gonna, if there's no filing of this, that, or the other,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again,
But we know there's definitely gonna be
There
a
is
challenge.
definitely going to be a
you know,
challenge.
we think there's going to be a challenge. But
Wacha
I mean,
niwaambie hii
if,
kitu, hii inaenda runoff, mpende musipende. Hata
Hakuna
mkiteta,
runoff.
if
this is 1 2 3 versus 1. Twende kaende katambe
Hakuna
katambe.
runoff.
Runoff iko.
Haya,
Utafanya
sawa.
nini?
Haya, ngoja
Yes.
taona. Ngoja taona.
And if
Kwa sababu
and by the way, if there's a runoff, I am putting down $100 Zimbabwean dollars.
No, unajua nini? Hakuna runoff kwa sababu wote watapata above that 50 plus 1.
how do you do that?
How can wote pata above 50 plus
How?
1?
Just by the progression of the numbers. Like,
No, you
see
can't.
50. See,
Oh, yeah.
see 50% plus
No,
1 vote.
But
Yes.
plus 1 vote. But you
Yes.
see, the reason why they might not get 50% plus 1 vote is because between
Kina Wajakoya.
Wajakoya and Waiga
Majama-
Mwaure,
Majama.
they have 0.66%
Yeah,
between the two
yeah,
of them.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
those guys can complicate that
So what?
equation.
Yeah, wanaribu hesabu.
Yeah, wanaribu hesabu. So both of them can be below 50.
Yeah. But wote wanapata ile 24 constituencies, right?
No, what watapata because
Yeah.
you only need 25% in 24 constituencies.
Yeah,
Hiyo
hiyo wote wanapata.
hiyo wote
Yeah,
wanapasa.
so
Slay
hesabu-
anasema Wajakoya wanaweza shinda.
No,
runoff.
hesabu ya runoff
Slay.
inaribika kwa sababu
No, Slay anasema Wajakoya
kwa
atashinda
sababu
runoff.
I believe Wajakoya will get more than 1%.
No.
I don't think
no,
so.
from the way numbers
Based
are
upon the way
progressing.
numbers are, no.
Amekuwa akipata ma 0.45%.
Hiyo power BA yako
No,
inaonekana
no.
wana-
Hata hajatwanga 50k.
Wacha nikwambia nyinyi mnaona tu wakikula tu ni mbili kama nini za fisi but
si ulikuwa unaenda kusema mac and cheese.
Nyinyi.
Ni huyu si vivi alikuwa anaenda kusema mac and cheese.
Well, this has been a good break from continuously watching
Bro,
elections.
let me tell you.
This has been my first break. Let me be honest. This
That
has been
song
my
that
first
has been
break.
playing in your head, for
Yeah.
me, I have a TV in the office. So I had turned that thing on and me, I'm over here working, nini. Then you hear what was Citizen, nini. And after a while, you realize which ones are actually better media houses in
Yeah.
terms of
Yeah.
presentation,
I have
in
not
terms
been
of
watching.
personalities, in terms of
Yeah,
even
because it's not easy keeping that
'cause then I'm
conversation
like,
going.
some of these guys.
I went to visit Maganda. Maganda's over there. I watched them. They were on TV and I'm like, you guys are watching this thing. You guys, you cannot even wait for these things until Chebukati announces.
can't,
Sasa hapa
man.
mnanipatia blood
Boss,
pressure.
that thing is
I made them change to a Food Network.
And then unajua,
Kwende.
unajua another thing, all these media houses, they deployed all their interns and all the people. Hata mtu akuosha vyombo anaambiwa leo wewe utanini. Wewe utareport. Yeah, because they have people across different countries. Unasikia sijui Garissa, unaona wako na mtu wao huko. Unasikia sijui ni wapi huko West Pokot, they have someone there. So I think all people have been deployed in all places, all journalists that you've never seen before.
I think even there was somebody who was deployed into North Carolina by the name of Ida Alicia. He says, I called this runoff last week. Just remember that.
Okay. Well,
Which
Chebukati,
media house was she
who
talking
told
about?
you there's a run of Ida?
I think North Carolina media.
Are you talking about North Carolina? I think she's talking about North Carolina elections.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah,
That one.
I
There's
think
a
huko
whole-
kuna
No,
runoff.
North Carolina kuna runoff kwa sababu nani Nameless amerudi Charlotte hii weekend.
Charlotte, Virginia, ama Charlotte, North Carolina?
No, Charlotte, North Carolina.
Carolina.
Yeah.
Charlotte waka na watu.
Virginia ni Charlottesville.
Charlotte waka na watu.
Wa Kenya ni wengi.
Like about what? 4 or 5?
Maybe 8.
No, by the way, those small towns.
I don't know because I've never gone
Well,
to Charlotte
Well,
for anything.
Kuna
Yeah,
watu. Kuna,
yeah, by the way,
kuna mbogi, kuna
by the
mbogi.
way, those small towns, you know, like it's now Kenya. It's now Kenya, and those small towns, cost of living iko
The
chini.
town is small, si small.
No, Charlotte is not a small town.
Charlotte is not a small town.
town.
Yeah,
Charlotte is a
not
very
small
big
town.
town.
It's
Yeah.
tech central for
Yeah,
NC.
ina tech central alafu na
Yeah.
mashule.
Yeah.
Just like Raleigh.
Okay.
Na unajua
Yeah.
place kuna mashule utapata wa Kenya.
I know, definitely. Tunapenda kusoma.
Yeah.
But anyway, we are wrapping this puppy up. So, September 9th, ladies and gentlemen, mujue ifyo.
There's a possibility we might be back.
16th, yeah.
So,
So it's tentative.
Yes.
Sema tu kuambia.
Aida, akiamugu huyu Aida.
Come studio ukapata sauti.
Hiyo story tuachane nayo. We wrap this puppy up.
Let us
Sasa angalia sasa mpaka sasa nani
Masimu.
Angalia sasa mpaka watu wamekuwa totally distracted.
Yeah, my volume za watu.
We wrap this puppy up.
I already ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, wahenga walinena kilicho na mwanzo hakina budi kuwa na mwisho. Meli imetia nanga. Let's wrap this puppy up for the second time.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, it's been another exciting, wonderful Friday. Happy hours. Leo tumepiga story nikati tuko base.
Namepata volume, unajua sasa utakuenjoy sasa.
Volume.
Unajua hapa mwezi ni mute vile nyuni mute. Vile wanumai kuni mute. So yeah, lazima nipate sauti.
Cheza chini.
Leo lazima nipate sauti. Nimekuja
kwa waiting room.
Nimekuja Tallying Center.
Nimekuja Bomas.
Nimekuja kuchunga sauti yangu hapa itoleka vote. Yeah, so
na ujinga.
Nimekuja Tallying Center. Leo sinyamazishwi sauti yangu kura yangu. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to thank you for joining us today. Thank you for sharing with us today. And I'll tell people like Kikam. Most probably mtasikia who's your president next kesho. Whoever wins, it's been a good run. It's been a good competition. They've taken each other toe to toe. We've never had such a closely contested presidency.
Yeah.
So just hope that it's for the best. And vile Ali amesema, remember issues zenu the same.
Yeah.
Regardless of which party you were
100%
supporting. So after all this, we go back to normal settings. We go back to being brother and sister, tupendane. Si tuliwacha hata home firstborn na lastborn wasikizanangi juu mmoja amekula wing mwingine amekula drumstick. So kuna kuangana hizo issue. So but at the end of the day you still protect each other, right? So we will see you on the 16th. Remember, back to school.
Nice.
Yani huyu jamaa shapiga calculations zake.
Lakini msee. Sawa.
Those of you who are doing back to school, so many company, those of you who are doing back to school in terms of swiping cards, poleni, endeleeni, hiyo ndo uzuri ya kuwa mzazi. But all in all, be safe, stay safe. Kuna monkeypox wase, kaeni home. Na mvae mask. Na mwaisole.
So inakuja na monkey ama?
Sijui.
Unavaa mask wapi? But carry on.
Chicken pox ilikuwa inakuja na chicken.
Si kwetu tuko na chicken pox. Tulikuwa na small pox.
Wazee wanarusha tu missile.
Tulikuwa na small pox. Tulikuwa na kuja na smalls. Yo, my party people. Asanteni. Thank you once again. This has been, I guess this is what, third term. Third term ndio hii imemalizika. Tunaingia fourth term. And we thank you guys. Without you guys, we would not be able to do this. You're our energy. You're the people who boost us on Fridays and make us come out and do this thing. So to all our fans, and hey, you're so many, I can't even mention all of you, but have a good rest of the summer. Enjoy yourselves out there. These elections come and go. Don't forget, as diasporans, we are our brother's keepers. You're the brother or sister that I have, because you're the one who's here. Those farmers who live at home are at home in Kenya, but you guys out there are the ones who we have. And we deal with you guys on a daily basis. We may not see you on a daily basis, but we do deal with you guys. And when we do meet, the love is evident, and it spreads across. We don't care where one comes from or whatever. The fact that we are bonded as being Kenyans is the true bond that brings us together. So please don't forget that. Na msisahau kusaidia wale wase wako nyumbani, because there's always that panic of they need to buy food, nini. So if you have a couple of pennies, send them money so they can go buy food in case of ABC or D. But we pray and hope nothing's going to happen, and I don't think anything is going to happen. Some areas may have hapana pale, but all in all, Have a good one. See you guys. We'll be back either September 9th or September 16th, or when Ali decides that it's time for us to come together as a show. With that said, thank you. Enjoy yourselves for the rest of the summer and enjoy your summer. And it's been real. Peace.
All right, asante sana, DJ OmoshFaya. It's been, I can't believe, we were just coming back the other day from Kenya, like getting ready to register to vote. Nando hapa sisi tusha vote, and now we are waiting. We are at that moment where we are waiting. I was really expecting to have the result by today, but Chebukati has decided otherwise. So tungoje kwa utulivu, and whoever wins tomorrow, we are back here together. We have to live together. Our issues are gonna be together. Like Omosh said, we're taking a break. Coming back or either on the 9th or the 16th, we'll announce and let you know. Because bwana, hata pia sisi tunahitaji break. We've not had a Friday for the last I don't know how long. And then there's also LA Rugby Sevens happening. For those who are gonna be coming, inbox me. Kama unataka kuna deal ya hoteli na nini, inbox me, let me know. Rugby Sevens is happening on it's the 20, is it weekend? Yeah, 26th, 27th. Yeah. So it's in good time. So this is a good time to go back and reassess LA and determine whether you wanna come back again next year. And then what else? Or something else I wanted to say, but nimesahau. But hiyo ni sawa tu. We're gonna see each other on the 9th or on the 16th. Na kwa hayo machache, yeyote ambaye anataka kunipigia simu, nambari yangu ni 1-800 mteule. Operator akishika simu, mwambie unataka kusema na mjukuu. Na akikuuliza ni mjukuu yupi, mkumbushe ni mjukuu yule wa Masai. Because I'm Kenyan by blood, American by design, Masai by choice. Sichagui, sikagui, na sibagui. Kwaherini.
The OneMic show is very lucky to have these clowns. Fire, Micah, Ali. It's on fire, it's on point, and it's an amazing. We're going to take a short break, but come back rejuvenated. And as Ali said, whoever is the president, we carry on. As Micah said, whether you are Azimio, whether you are UDA, your cash up na hiyo wave utatingisha. Is it tap?
Tap.
Yeah, even that one.
Kulikuwa na kana cash. Lakini kana cash ilikuja na double ikapose. Ilikuwa ni kama hizi results za Kenya vile media houses
zina nini. Yeah. So you still have to do that. So remember, it is what it is. Aiden, daddy loves you. Jerry, daddy loves you. Nemo, daddy loves you. Until next week, or the 9th, not the 16th as Micah wants. Be blessed. DJ Machachari Buddha Boss Kade. Twende.
I don't know where this message will find you. I'm hoping that it finds you well. I'm uneven aware where we're going. Only time will tell. Only love will keep us together. Only love will set us free.
No time for violence, negativity we throw out to blindness. We're not gonna let bad mind come divide us. Individuality all behind us. Tulilelewa tukijuana, tukiwa vijana, hatuna haja ya kuzozana. You are my brother.
Jirani yako mpende kama unavyopenda kupendwa. Baba, send your peace from heaven for our children and the future. Amani na iwe. Amani na iwe Kenya we. Tuko pamoja. Tusimame pamoja. Upendo wa Kenya. Twende mbele. Tuko pamoja. Tusimame pamoja. amani ndiyo nguvu tuilinde. Wisdom is calling from above. Kenya, love is our strength forever. Kenya belongs to God. Kenya belongs to God.
Naishi na machajin bila noma. Kileta vurugu hizi panda tutambui. Hawa wachochezi watatukoma. Mayutu wameshikana makabila tubagui. Na dream juu ya future nye mayutu najijenga kwa society. Mengiza kakitu na currency variety. Leo kichoma mtani unadhani mokoro ataishi. Kauna jali family amani ndo inastahili.
Hope and pray we're gonna find a way. The storms will fade away. The sun will shine again. Whenever you pray, blessings will come your way. Better and brighter days. Kenya is here to stay.
Katika vitu vya kucheza na usicheze na hisia za mtu. Wengi wameenda jela kisa mapenzi wameua mtu. Kwenye mapenzi bwana usikose njia, utakuja tutia, wengi wameshalia. Waona wako wamenikimbia, utanamlilia kwa uchungu. Baby wako na mbazili mia, watanokukuzia, wanakuchukulia. Anya tunatulelo na mjatia, vidola mia, ya kwa shungu. Nimeshindwa, nimejaribu kukuweka mbali. Nimeshindwa, mdomo umetamka sikutaki ila moyoni. Nimeshindwa, eti nisikuote na nisikufikirie mwenzako. Nimeshindwa, kuwa mbali na wewe, kwenda mbali na wewe niendako. Nimeshindwa,
Hey, we fucking open the door. Kona your city before. Laba singo jisingifu. Sasa na jitesi turo. Mwili maumivu kwa mando. Twende pori pori njaribu kuongea na watu. Umepata msaada sana pori. Sometimes na stuck. Sweze takufanya chochote. You shot my heart. I'm a dead man ngoke na angalia wapi. Vipande vya moyo wangu atani ukote. Laza kaji unga tafute njiani tu. Wana wangu do invest. You up on a way. Sa try to do my best. Bali mozina. Ufanya kila kitu mpupendeze we. Napaka we ungai na pesa za bada.
eti nisikuote na nisikufikirie mwenzako. Nimeshindwa, kuwa mbali na wewe, kwenda mbali na wewe niendako. Nimeshindwa, nimeshindwa, nimeshindwa.
Touch. Take five now.
Cool boy. Kikifa, kaki sandorinya sae onge. Ingite